Fallout 4 modders, you never cease to amaze me. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn, and I have collected 8 new mods that have come up on the Nexus recently that are designed for settlement building that I wanted to showcase. First on the list is DINO'S Decorations by DINOZAURZ. And what this does is it gives you a bunch of little pre-made widgets and doodads that you can set around your settlement, and one of them, one of the best ones I think is this one. He took the conveyor belts from Contraption's workshop and shrunk them down and put them together with a bunch of cars and toys to make this sort of this car racetrack, which is going to be great. If you use this in conjunction with, say, the Orphans of the Commonwealth mod that I talked about in another video, you can have a bunch of kids playing with toys at your settlement, which is cool. But this is going to save you a lot of time decorating your settlement. He's got vases and flowers set up already. He's got chemistry items and food items, and that's not even all. There are bathroom items, a tea set, a variety of different tea sets. He's got food set out, including mute fruit, and then here's a cafeteria tray with beer on it, a variety of different foods in the cafeteria trays, salt and pepper, kitchen utensils. There's even a miniature silt bean plant in there. I guess it's like a mini plant in there. Here's a bunch of kitchen utensils with a teeny tiny little saucepan, and there you go. There's your pool balls that are stuck in the pool rack, which you can't actually do in the game, because in the game the balls themselves are too large for the rack. So he fixed the size issue and put them in there for you. Look at all these teeny tiny plants. That would be great for a windowsill. And then of course you've got some Nuka-Colas, some food, a stack of holotapes, a bunch of stacked glasses. Wouldn't this look great in your kitchen or dining room? Plates, silverware, office utensils, more food, more kitchen utensils, more office clipboards and pens. And I mean, we just keep going here. We've got a smoking station here with cigarettes and a lighter. Look at this basket filled with all sorts of wonderful kitchen utensils, a bunch of bottles, stacked books, picture frames, model robots, more bottles, chemistry station, and a checkers set sitting out here for you. I mean, he just put so many different things together for you to decorate your settlements with that it's going to make decorating an absolute joy. So you should definitely check this one out. DINO'S Decorations, clutter arrangements for your settlements. It's going to add a ton of character to your settlements. Next on the list is NSRIE's unique containers and bins of stuff. This mod puts together an assortment of items into containers. So this right here is a knick-knack shelf that works as a container. Here is a clothing container. It's an ironing board covered in clothing and all sorts of utility items that you can work that works as a container. Here's a filled refrigerator filled with food that works as a container. All of these are containers. Here's a bins of weapons container, small arms. Here's a bins of melee weapon container. Here's a bins of energy weapons container. You could store all of your weapons in there. And then here's a medical storage. You could store all of your chemistry items, your chems, and other meds in this medical storage container. Now, this is a pretty resource-intensive mod. It's going to consume a lot of your settlement resource budget. But if your machine is strong enough, if your computer is strong enough, then you could certainly install this mod and enjoy all of these wonderful new containers. So another great one for not only adding beautiful decorations to your settlements, but actual functionality that is interesting and immersive. So thank you for that one, NSRIE. Next up is Clothing Shelves by XNJGUY, and this does exactly what it says. It gives you a bunch of shelves filled with clothing. There are 2 options. There's the light wood version like this, or there's a dark wood version. So it just depends on what color you want your shelving units to be. And they snap to each other side by side, so you can tell that each of these shelving units is snapped to the next, which makes it that much easier to put together. Now, in my opinion, it's designed for a shop. It even comes with this really cool display case for pocket watches and sunglasses. And if you wanted to create a shop in your settlement for clothing, this would be excellent. It's a little too perfectly organized, I think, for an organic feeling settlement. Like if you wanted it to be in a laundry room, for example, it just looks too organized. But if you wanted it to be a display case for a clothing shop, I think this is perfect. It's just put together perfectly. It's exactly what you would see inside something like JCPenney or Sears or something like that. So very cool. Now this mod, like the last one I talked about, is also resource intensive. Each of these clothing items is its own mesh, and it is going to take up some of your settlement budget. So bear that in mind before you install it. If you have a very large settlement, you might not want to install this one. But if you've got a very awesome computer that can handle it, then this is an excellent option for you. Next up is Filled Dinner Counters, also by XNJGUY. And this is such a cool mod. I am so thrilled that I found it. What it does is it gives you these sort of buffet-style tables filled with food, each one labeled correctly. So let's say that you've got a big communal type settlement with lots of communal housing and communal showers, and you just don't have room for there to be a kitchen, or a dining area in every single house. So you have one big dining area where you can set out these self-service hot tables or something, and you can set the food out, and then the settlers can feed themselves at the end of the day for their big meal. What a really cool idea, and it's fully stocked with food. It looks great, and it also comes with these diner counters. So these are the buffet tables, and these are the diner counters. This is what you're going to find in places like Red Rocket or inside that little restaurant at the Egret Tours Marina, only they're completely filled with all sorts of doodads. And there are two versions. You can see I snapped them together side by side. There's a thick version and there's a thin version. And they have the exact same components. So here's the thin version of the booze and drinks cabinet, and then here's the thick version of the booze and drinks display case. So it just depends on the kind of counter system that you want to set up. But using this mod, you could create a wonderful place to store all sorts of kitchen utensils and food and boxed goodies and drinks. I mean, the options are just so wonderful, and they're organized really well. Again, pretty resource intensive, but worth it in my opinion. Thank you very much, XNJGUY, for your awesome mod. Next up is Gravel Wall by G2MX Agent. And this is a simple mod, but it's really cool, and I had never seen it. So what this does is it gives you these sort of barricades that you can find in the defense section of your workshop. So go on down to defense and go to traps, and you've got two different versions of these gravel walls that snap to each other. One is destructible and one is indestructible. And I don't know what that means. I'm assuming... Yeah, you know how sometimes when you step on a sandbag when in power armor, the sandbags will sort of break? I'm guessing there's some sort of destructible script associated with the destructible ones, but he also has some indestructible ones, and I just think they look wonderful. They're going to be great if you're trying to build a settlement that's really rustic, and it's, you know, it's kind of a fortified settlement, but using really basic materials. This is going to be a great mod for you, for your defenses, and just to make the place look a whole lot better. So thank you for that, G2MX Agent. Here's a mod that I am really excited about. This mod is called Thematic and Practical by 5like, and the aim of this mod is to recreate the furniture in Fallout 4 that you can build according to a specific theme. So the first version of his mod has a scavenger wastelander theme, and as you can see, everything has been recreated to look like it's been patched together with loose wood and random items that you find. So here are the beds. You can see that each of these beds uses a filthy mattress, and they're propped up on tires, cinder blocks, sandbags, wood pallets. And here are the chairs. These look like these have been glued or hammered together with random bits of 2x4s and plywood that are just laying around. around. This is also a chair, and it's just a stack of cinder blocks. Another chair, and it's just a couple of tires. It's so great because this is exactly what settlers would do for lack of resources in the wasteland. Here's a couch made with 2 sleeping bags and a bunch of tires and a sandbag. Here's another couch made with a couple of mattresses and some cinder blocks. And look at this. This is a dog house. Now, there's my junkyard dog, and he's not actually inside of it. And I don't know if that's just because of where I put it, or because my settlement is so huge that it's having scripting issues, or what. I think it looks amazing, but in my game at least, the dog is not going in it, and I'm not sure why. Now, this is actually a bar, so if you wanted to set up a bunch of drinks, you can have a bar for to use that. And this is a food storage. It works as a container. You can transfer your food in there. And if you wanted to, you could use something like OC Decorator to push some food down in there. Here's like a display dresser, and you can transfer items into it. It's got this bar here for hanging things. I don't think anything actually shows up there if you were to put something in there. And then you can decorate it with OC Decorator right there if you wanted to. Here are the tables. Here's an extra tall table. There are 3 extra tall tables, which are going to be great for the extra tall bar stools if you wanted to have an elevated table for like a lounge or a bar. And then here are just regular sized tables that you can put regular chairs under, and your settlers will sit at to eat their meals. And then he also includes these coffee tables. The mod author just included absolutely everything, and I love the concept of this mod. And you know, it's just, his mod is in the alpha stage. And I encourage you all, if you are like me and you think this is such a great idea for a mod, I encourage you to download his mod, endorse it, and encourage him to keep up with it. He's also got these shelving units, which you could use OC Decorator to decorate, and they just look great. He used these large pillars for each of the corners, and then it's just an amalgam of plywood and cinder blocks to create these sort of hacked-together shelving units. Now, it does come with wall-mounted shelving units, and here they are. I'm going to show you what they look like. And before I installed the Place Anywhere mod, I couldn't actually get it to attach to a wall. But now that I do have that mod installed, I can get it to work. So I don't know if that mod is required to get these to work or not. But regardless, they're really cool wall-mounted shelves that you can use OC Decorator to fill up with your favorite goodies. One more thing, this is actually an armor merchant shop. Let's see if I can select it. There you go. Assigned, you can see that this settler is assigned to an armor shop, and what he did is he just created his own mesh using cinder blocks, metal, scrap metal, and some wood, and you can assign a settler to it, and she will work like an armor vendor. Let's see if I can...
Easy living? This ain't. Excuse me. If you're looking for armor, I may have something you can use. Let's see what you have. Here's what I got.
And there you go. You can. She's an armor merchant. So he says that this is experimental, and in my game it works just fine. So hopefully he'll come up with one of these for each of the different shops in the game. I would love to see what he comes up with for the bars. That would be really cool. But look, you see that he's got the armor crafting station animation associated with this shop instead of just the regular shop. So it looks great, and I hope he continues work on this mod. The only question I have is it does come with this couch in the experiments section of the build menu, and I don't really know what it does. But you know what? Everything else is so beautiful. It's a great little mod, so thank you very much, 5like, for your wonderful mod. Next up is Craftable Far Harbor Tent by RLUCAS. You remember in Far Harbor when you first started playing, you would stumble upon these tents and go, oh man, if only I had these for my settlements. Well now, good sir, you have them. You can sleep in them yourself, or you can assign your settlers to sleep in them as well. That's right, each of these counts as one bed. See that I have 42 beds in this settlement. As soon as I remove it, it goes down to 41. So these do indeed work as beds. You can assign settlers to tents. But the problem is that they don't actually enter them. They just sort of stand outside the tent when it comes nighttime. As you can see, all my other settlers have come on up to the shack to sleep. They're all inside sleeping. And these 2 settlers, which are assigned to these tents, these are their beds. It does work. It does count as a bed. It does fulfill the necessary settlement requirement for beds, so I'm still getting happiness from it. But it's just that the animation doesn't really, they don't do anything. They just stand outside of the bed. So if that doesn't bother you, then hey, you've got tents. But if you actually want them to lay down at night, you might need to use something else. Overall, a really cool little mod, so thank you for that, RLUCAS. Finally, we'll round this roundup off with Fish Farm Stuff by G2MX and this mod gives you everything you need to build the best little wharf or dock system in your settlement. And it doesn't just use pre-made assets. He actually handmade these docks using these floating barrels. At least I think that he handmade these. I don't recall seeing them in the game. You know, now that I think about it, I think I might have seen them in the game. Anyway, you now have access to building your own little dock attached to these floating nuclear barrels, which I think is just such a cool little idea, and it would have saved me so much time and heartache if I had had this mod back when I was working on my Spectacle Island build, because I built a new dock here, and it just, it was alright, but this would have made things a lot easier. It comes with this really cool rowboat that you can either place in the water as a rowboat, or you can use it as a bridge to connect some of these together. So this one will snap to the side like that. See? But another cool thing about this is it's got a fish farm net, and this produces 10 food. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not into farming and you'd rather catch fish, you can lay down a fish farm net, assign a settler to the fish farm, and the settler will come down here and start working on it. Now, I suggest you place your settler in a diver's suit or in a hazmat suit or something, because the settler could die from radiation exposure if you don't. But you can select a settler and assign them here, and it will produce food for you over time, which I think is such a cool feature. And that's one thing that I think the game has been missing. It's the ability to use husbandry and animal farming to produce food. It also comes with these unique ramps and ladders. So if you've got water that's in a hard-to-reach area, like let's say there's this real steep outcrop of rock that leads down to the water, you could sort of make a path down there using these angled stairways that he's created with it. So, great. If you want to make your own dock, if you want to make your own wharf, you now have the perfect mod for it. So thank you so much, G2MX. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. New mods for settlement building that I think are now just essential. They make decorating your settlements so much easier, and they give you added functionality that frankly should have been available in the vanilla game. I'm continually impressed and amazed by the creativity shown by Fallout 4 modders, and I will be sure to show off only the very best of their efforts in future videos like this. So if you enjoyed this overview, please subscribe for more Fallout 4 content, including mod showcases like this, and thank you all so very much for watching.